Bubsy 4D brings back a classic platforming mascot in a fast, colorful 3D adventure built around speed, movement, exploration, and light combat. This is a game that knows exactly what it wants to be, a high-energy platformer with a lot of personality. But the real question is whether it actually delivers a modern experience that justifies the return of Bubsy. So with that being said, let's break it down. The story of Bubsy 4D picks up after the return of the Woolies, who once again cause chaos across the galaxy. However, this time things escalate in a much more unexpected way. The Woolies begin capturing Earth's sheep and experimenting with them using robotic technology. These experiments eventually lead to the creation of a new faction known as the Babots. The Babots quickly break away from control and begin taking over different worlds, stealing powerful artifacts, including the legendary Golden Fleece. Bubsy, who initially wants nothing to do with any of it, is once again dragged into a galaxy-spanning conflict. Reluctantly, he joins forces with allies and takes control of a spaceship to travel between planets, fighting back against the Babots and their leaders and Babosses. Each encounter pushes him closer to stopping the uprising and restoring balance to the stolen world. The story doesn't aim for a deep emotional narrative, but instead relies on humor, chaos, and fast-paced adventure to keep things moving. The presentation is one of the stronger elements of Bubsy 4D. The game uses a clean modern 3D style with slight cel-shaded influences that gives it a colorful and stylized look without trying to be overly realistic. Each planet has its own distinctive visual identity and that variety that helps keep the experience from feeling repetitive. Some worlds are bright and open while others feel more industrial or chaotic in design. Character animation is expressive and over the top, which fits the tone of the game that consistently breaks the fourth wall. Sound design is simple but effective. Every jump, every attack, and movement has clear audio feedback that helps keep the gameplay responsive. The music actually shifts depending on context, calmer during exploration, and much more intense during combat and boss sequences. On Xbox Series X, the game runs at a stable 60 frames per second, keeping movement smooth and fast-paced throughout most scenes. Overall, the presentation doesn't reinvent anything, but it does a good job supporting the game's energy and style. The gameplay in Bubsy 4D is built entirely around speed, momentum, and platforming flow. Bubsy has a wide movement kit that includes running, jumping, gliding, and special abilities that help him navigate large and vertical environments. One of the key mechanics is his ball form, which lets him build speed and travel through environments at high velocity. This is where the game feels most energetic and responsive. The game takes place across 3 main planets, each featuring multiple levels filled with platforming challenges, optional paths, and hidden collectibles. There is an actual strong emphasis on exploration despite the fast pace, where us gamers can collect yarn and other items that can be spent in shops for cosmetics and upgrades, adding light progression outside of core level completion. What also stands out is the consistent fourth wall, breaking Bubsy frequently talking directly to the player, like gamers like us, references his own history, and comments on game design itself. This adds a comedic layer that runs through the entire experience. The game also includes time trial modes for each level, giving players a reason to replay stages and improve their speedrun times. Despite the simplicity of combat, the main focus is always movement and flow. Enemies are secondary and more of a distraction than a real threat. However, the gameplay loop does start to feel repetitive over time while new mechanics are introduced. The structure doesn't change enough to keep things fresh all the way through. Despite its energy and style, Bubsy 4D does have some noticeable issues. The biggest problem is control precision. At high speeds, movements can actually feel slippery and unstable, which makes platforming less reliable than it should be. The camera is another weak point. During fast sessions, it actually can struggle to keep up with action, making it hard to read what comes next. This can lead to misjudged jumps or unfair deaths. Combat is basic and doesn't add much depth to the overall experience. Most encounters are easily avoided or cleared without strategy. The campaign length is also shorter than expected, and some ideas feel like they could have been expanded further. There are also occasional checkpoint issues where respawns can feel slightly unfair, especially during more chaotic sections. While none of these issues completely break the game, they do hold it back from reaching a higher level of polish. Bubsy 4D is a fast, colorful platformer that prioritizes speed, simple combat, and humor over complexity. It succeeds in bringing their franchise back with modern visuals and smooth performance, while delivering a high-energy platforming experience that fans of classic 3D platformers will recognize. However, issues with control, precision, camera work, and overall depth prevent it from reaching its full potential. For that, I give Bubsy 4D a 3 out of 5. Thank you for tuning into the best place for independent gaming journalism, the Gamer Section. If you enjoyed the review, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and stay locked in for more reviews and gaming content.